This is the corresponding tutorial for the read-through calculator, which embeds both the read-through and the AAC, or average acquisition cost. Starting in the top right, we have our spend. This is going to break down how much we are spending across all platforms in order to gain new readers. The cell next to it is a automatically populated sum based off of what you fill in. On the first column, we have Facebook ads, so you would put in how much you've spent this month. So we're going to say $20 this month. And then for Amazon, you'd put in however much you've spent, let's say $10. And so as you can see, you have $30. The second is if you were running two series simultaneously, so that way you could test both versions and see which one is actually driving you readers more effectively. Again, it does a total breakdown of $30. And then down here, this would be where you put in how much you've profited for the month. So for this scenario, we're going to say we've done $50, and so that would give us an ROI of 166. For understanding what true profit is, you would then subtract 100, so you'd end up with a 66% profit. Then coming over here to continue the hypothesis, we're going to say total orders are 8, and we're going to say that we have 350 page reads to make up a full read. And so let's say that we've done 6,000 pages. So those ratios look about right, about double the readers to buyers, giving us a total of 26. So then we would fill in exactly how many we got from Amazon. And so let's say it's going to say 3 of the sales came from them. And then for reads, we're going to enter, let's say, about 2,000 divided by that 350, which gives us 5 readers coming from there. And these will automatically populate because the rest would be coming from your Facebook. And so we would have 5 sales and 11 and change readers. As you can see at the bottom, that gives you your breakdown of total. So we've had 17 readers, 9 from Amazon. And then on the side, it gives you a breakdown based off of cost. So to get an actual purchaser of the book is taking $4 on Facebook and $3.33 on Amazon. And then for our KU reads, we're averaging 175 on each. This then breaks down further. So for total reader acquisition on Amazon, we're looking at $1.11. And for total reader acquisition on Facebook, we'd have $1.18, which would give us down here a combined average acquisition cost of $1.15. Obviously, this is way under what it would normally cost. However, if you can achieve it, then by all means. Rather than backwards engineer this for educational purposes, I'm going to override this section and put in a $3.25 acquisitions cost, which I know to be quite doable for the US market, specifically referring to Cozy Mysteries. So with that $3.25, we're now going to hop over to the second page. And so again, just like we're doing 2 series here, if you have 2 series, you can plug in both. But for now, we're going to look at series 1. And so series 1 is pulling the acquisition from the actual series tab, which would be up here. And so for here, I'm going to override that as well, which now gives us $3.25. So with your acquisitions cost, you can now run models to determine what your ROI would be given however much you spend. So starting in the top corner, this is a date field. It does not apply to anything. It is strictly for reference, so you can update it. For instance, today is the 27th. And then I would save the document, and now that would be permanently saved so that when I come back to it, I'll know how long it's been since I last looked at it. Moving over to the far right, we're going to enter in our data for book 1, which will correspond over to this side. We're going to say 100 sales and 200 KU so that we get a nice 66-33 split. This is pretty accurate to our experience. Perhaps you sell far more or have far more KU readers. Again, the KU section itself is broken down by entering page reads divided by the number of pages to constitute a full read. And sales, of course, you just enter based on the number of orders on your dashboard. For the purposes of this demonstration, I've pre-established it for 3 books in so that we can look at profit and ROI. And so I've highlighted the cell. That way, everyone knows where we're working from. If your series is longer than 3 books, let's say you have 6, then you would actually want to use this cell instead. For these purposes, we are placing all books at $3.99. We are then going to come down here and adjust the books. But for this purpose, I'm going to say all books are 350 pages. And then as the KU rate adjusts, you can update that into here, and it will multiply that out across. So royalties are going to be 70% since we're at the above $2.99 price point. And then I automatically subtract 5 cents for delivery fee because that tends to be higher than what it works out to. And so I prefer to be on the more conservative side. So that leaves us with a royalty of $2.74 and a KU royalty of $1.57. Down here, you then get your average customer value or reader value. This is going to give us $1.96. And the reason for that is our digital value is defined as $2.74 and our KU is $1.57. But these cells will automatically give weight in accordance to how many of your readers fall into each category. So it's already giving disproportional weight to the KU because those are the majority of the readers in this scenario. Going to column D, we are now on to book 2 of the series. And so for this, we would calculate read-through and sell-through and enter those numbers here. So in this scenario, if we've had 100 of book 1, a 40% read-through would mean that we have 40 of book 2. If you need to figure out your read-through, it's as simple as taking your last book that you want to compare. So in this case, we're going to say 40 books. So equal 40, and then we're going to divide it by the number of books that came before. So in this case, 100. And that'll give us 40%. On the read-through, we will do a similar thing, except in this case, we're going to look at pages. So it'd be equal. Let's say, sorry, I need to do some quick math. All right. And so as you see, 42,000 pages divided by 350 divided by 70,000 pages divided by 350 gives us a 60% read-through for our KU, which then goes in here. And so you'll need to manually process each read-through in order to then fill in over here, which if you have questions about, I can go into more detail somewhere else. And then based off of our trends, we have found that once you get to book 3, you're going to have about 85% continue and 90% on the KU side. This secondary line is your cumulative. And so as you can see, for everybody that has picked up book 1, 34% will make it to book 3. Likewise, for KU readers, 54% will have made it to book 3. And so then this is still calculating based off of our new updated digital and KU value, but it is giving weight in accordance to book 1 because those are the readers. They have to go to book 1 to then continue. And so that gives us a average customer value of $384. And we have a acquisitions cost of $325, meaning that we have a net profit of $1.08. Sorry, that is wrong. The reason that it is giving 108 right now is because it is pulling from Series 2 with its read-through. So let me show that first before I delete this. So over here in Series 2, it's assuming 1. So we went down here, Series 2. We have 196 as our average value for the reader. Go back to Series 1, and it is showing a 25% sell-through, or 0.25. I can go into how to calculate that at a later time. And so that gave us a cumulative value of 49 cents added. But for the purposes of this, we're going to delete that. And so from this series alone, so we have 384 minus 325 leaves us 59 cents. Now I'm going to pull up my calculator to verify. And that does leave 59 cents. And so your profit, or your ROI, is going to be defined as this value, so what your reader value is, minus the acquisitions cost, plus the secondary series, which right now is none. And then it's going to get divided by the acquisitions cost. And the reason to add 1 is because you're getting back this as well, which gives you 118% ROI or 18.09% profit. For those of you that do have a second series or a backlist that they can go to, even if you're not presently publishing in it, this field is going to become very valuable to you because it's going to show you exactly how much you can expect to earn from a total reader beyond just the front list of what you're actively publishing. And so I've gone ahead and re-added it. And so as you can see, our profit is back up to 108, which actually gives us an ROI of 133%, which is quite good. And so over into Series 2, in this scenario, we actually have just one book. So just by having 3 books in one series and starting a new series, we can see profits go up substantially. 25% read-through, which is what this is defined as, is within reason, but it's on the higher end. A more realistic expectation would be 15%, which would give you 29 cents added to every single reader, which isn't bad because this does not calculate new readers from here going back over to here, which is the more likely outcome. So for those of you with 2 series, right now this is all set on this cell. You would need to go through and process your read-through and sell-through like we did on the other one. And I would recommend highlighting whatever cell it is you want to be using. So let's say your backlist is actually a 5-book series. So we would highlight this cell, come up here, no fill. So now we know this is the cell we want to target. Well, for Series 1, we're going to have to come back, and down here on Series 2, instead of telling it to select that cell that we had, we're going to come here on the Enter. You then click the tab, and then select the correct cell you want. And now it updates. So it's pulling 82 cents. The reason is your average value is 546, but you only have a 15% read-through who are going to continue over and go down the same read-through line. These are on more conservative numbers because in my experience, your series-wide read-through does not reflect those who jump between series. In my experience, if they're going to follow you into a new series, it is most likely that they are going to be on the higher end of read-through. So if they've liked your first series and are testing the second one, they're more likely to read it all the way through rather than to stop like the majority. For instance, if you have a 40% sell-through, 60% are stopping. If you've got them as a superfan or a reader from an established series already, they are most likely going to fall into this 40%, which over time can also drive up your total read-through calculations. So now that we've gone through the process of doing 2 series, let's say that you're hyper prolific, and so you now need to add a 3rd series. You're going to come to Series 2. You're going to press Control A. That's going to select everything. Control C will copy it. Start a new tab. Name this Series 3. Input it. Paste. So now you'll go through the exact same process of having to fill out the data. And so over here, we're going to remove this and assume that we're just on book 1. It's a brand new series. And so we come back to Series 1 because we're going to look at the added value. I'm going to name it Series 3 added value. And so I would recommend copying this cell, pasting it, because the read-through is probably going to be about the same. So for prediction purposes, when you're first looking at it, it's best just to assume it'll perform as well as the other one until shown otherwise. We're then going to delete that because we don't want Series 2. We actually want to go to Series 3, and we want to select the average value there. And by doing that, we now have 82 and 29. And so you have to come up here to profit, because again, C21 is this one. And so we also want to add C22. And so now it updates for that. And so this is how you would get a 3 series cumulative value of what your readers would be worth. Likewise, if we go all the way back to acquisitions cost, if you wanted to add in a 3rd series that you're going to be marketing simultaneously, you then paste it in here, and you would follow the same process of moving your acquisition cost into that series. And so that's how you would find out what your ROI is per series to determine which one is your top performer.